Good day, Dr. Mahiza. We are from Group 1 and the topic we will be presenting is Helminths of the Poultry and what do we do for prevalence and control of the Helminths. This is our member from the Group 1 presenters. We will be focusing more on the common helminths in the poultry in this presentation. Helminths are large macroparasites and their adult form can generally be seen with the naked eye. Many of the helminths are soil transmitted and they infect the gastrointestinal tract. Some of them also resides in the blood vessel and other places. Free-range chicken will also possess a higher risk to be infected by the parasite than the closed-house chicken because of the wider moving area and the less biosecurity. The first nematode is the Ascaridia galli, which is also known as a roundworm. The eggs of this nematode will be passed out in the feces of infected chicken and contaminate the drinking water and the feeds of a healthy chicken. This nematode will infect the small intestine and grow into white and large round worms. Heterarchis gallinarum, commonly called as the sickle worm, also have a direct life cycle. They infect the cecum. The most common characteristic of their nematode is the precoccus sucker and the speckle. The next nematode is the hairworm, Capillaria species. They can have both direct and indirect life cycle. They infect the small intestine and their intermediate host is the earthworm. The next helminth is a cestode, Rhylatina species. Common name is the tapeworm. They infect the small intestine and have an indirect life cycle with the intermediate host of houseflies and ants. These are the least common helminth parasite compared to the previous helminths. Syngamous trachea, which infect the trachea with a paratenic host of an earthworm. Tetramius, which infect the proventriculus with insects as an intermediate host. And lastly, Oxyspirula mansoni, which have an intermediate host of cockroach. And this helminth infects the nictitating membrane of the eye.
Now I will talk about the prevalence of the helminths in poultry. In worldwide, nematodes become the most studied helminth parasite that contribute 90%, followed by chestode and trematode. As chestode and trematode require an intermediate host such as houseflies or beetles for their transmission, their overall lower prevalence may have been linked to less opportunity of transmission. The most commonly reported and prevalent nematode species were Ascaridia galli, which is the highest, followed by Heterarchis gallinarum and Capillaria species, with overall prevalence ranging from 0.3 to 100%. In Malaysia, based on data that we got from 1968 until 1997, among the nematodes, the highest infection was demonstrated in Ascaridia galli, whereas for chestode group, Rhylatina tetragona and Rhylatina ignoborida showed the highest total count reported by the researchers. Moving on to the susceptibility, production type become one of the factors that influence this problem. Scavenging activities, contaminated feed and poultry management become crucial reason why free-range chicken is more susceptible to get helminth infection. Next factor is climate. Malaysian soil, especially when humid and warm, may serve as an important reservoir and transmission site for external larval stage of helminths. Finally, types of poultry, layer and broiler. Cage layers have longer lifespans, allowing for a greater manifestation of helminth infection than broiler production, where their lifespan is shorter as 32 days.
Now, let's discuss the control measures that can be taken in order to control and prevent the infestation of helminths. The first method that can be taken is to prevent overstocking. Overstocking will force the birds to come in closer contact with materials contaminated by feces. This will then increase the likelihood of these poultry to get infested by helminths. So in order to prevent that, we need to make sure we are following a healthy stocking rate in a farm environment. The next method that can be taken is to have a routine sanitation in order to maintain hygiene of the pens. This can be done by removing litters frequently and keeping the floor dry as much as possible. The walls could also be lime washed, as you can see in the picture, and we can use insecticides to soil and litter in order to prevent intermediate hosts from infecting our host, in this case poultry. The next method is routine deworming. Deworming can be done by certain drugs, for example, flubendazole, phenothiazone, and so on. So the first drug, flubendazole, is used to control intestinal nematodes and Syngama's trachea. This is given in feed to chickens, geese, turkeys, and game birds. The next drug is phenothiazine. Phenothiazine is used to treat cecal worms in chicken, and the dosage for this drug is 0.5 grams per chicken or 1 gram per turkey, and it is given in 1 day. The next three drugs I will be discussing are all gastrointestinal and tracheal worm drugs, and they are given in drinking water or feed. These include piperazine, benzimidazole, and levamisole. Benzimidazole is given in 1 milliliter per 22 kilograms BID or twice daily for 3 days and repeated in 2 weeks. Levamisole, on the other hand, is administered 0.04% for 2 days or 2 grams per gallon of drinking water once a month as a prevention method. The next drug I'll be discussing is 5% cresol solution. This is used for eyeworms, to treat eyeworms, like Oxyspira mancini. The procedure to use this drug is to first apply local anesthetic to the eyes, and then to lift the lactating membrane to expose the worm residing in the lacrimal sac of the eye, as you can see in the picture. The third step will be to apply the 5% cresol solution to kill all the worms instantly, and then now we have to remove the dead worms, so we can rinse the eyes out or we can manually remove the worms using sterilized forceps. The next prevention method is to ensure adequate nutritional level. The overall effect of Helminth infection may be reduced by ensuring an adequate level of nutrition, because that will then give the poultry a better immune system. The last but not least, production system. Production system is something we can control, especially when it comes to intensive production system. We can create an environment where we can minimize parasitic infection. However, when it comes to free-range system, we need to take other measures like moving the flock to a new pasture that has been treated with insecticides. So in this case, we will have a ground that is clean and is free from dung beetles or cockroaches, which are usually intermediate hosts for parasites like Tetrameres or Oxyspira mancini. And that is all from us, Group 1. We hope you enjoyed this short summary video on our presentation for today. Thank you.